The people that are getting cited have clear, structured content, they have high authority signals already, and they're creating content that people are already craving.
Welcome to Duo On Air, where we help you get seen, remembered, and wildly obsessed over by your audience. We're your hosts, Abby
and Courtney, a pair of ex-agency besties who ditched the cubicles, the Minneapolis skyways, and the corporate jargon for work that matters, with people who inspire us every day. Today, we're a women-powered marketing agency serving brands worldwide, bringing those big agency results without the corporate price tag.
Around here, it's all about what actually grows your business: branding, SEO, websites, and navigating the real-life ups and downs of building a dream while raising tiny humans. We're moms, wives, and best friend business partners in the trenches with you, making the hard stuff feel easy and a whole lot more fun.
So pour a fresh cup, get comfy, because you're exactly where you need to be.
Let's duo this.
Welcome back to the Duo On Air podcast. This is episode number 209, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about something that's been coming up a lot lately in my SEO conversations. How do you get AI tools to mention you or your business? Right now, when someone searches something in a tool like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, Google AI overviews, instead of just showing a list of websites like Google did, AI is actually pulling answers together and citing sources. And those sources are blog posts, articles, guides, websites. So the big question is, how do you make sure your website is one of the sources AI pulls from? And that's exactly what I want to dive into today, because this is what SEO is all about in 2026. What AI citations actually are, why some websites get cited and others don't, the specific things you can do to increase your chances of getting cited here, and how this changes the way we think about SEO moving forward. So let's eliminate some of the jargon in here, because what does getting cited in AI even mean? And I'd argue that this word cited is kind of the newest jargony term. So let's talk about it. When AI tools like ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini answer a question, it's doing one of two things. First, it's going to generate an answer from training data, all the information that's gathering from you asking questions from other people, from just the training tool overall. It could just generate an answer without citing or sourcing anything. Number two is it pulls information live from website sources. So the first one doesn't pull anything in, but the second one is what we're talking about right now. When these tools pull from the web, they're including links, citations, sources, and then they're sharing that content with you so that you can externally click on those and go to those rather than staying within ChatGPT or whatever user face you're using. And this is the new SEO goal. It's to become one of those trusted sources that actually get featured inside of AI tools. So think of it like this. Old search was Google's 10 blue traditional links, right? Those 10 blue links going down the page. New search, or AI search, AI summarizes the answer and then says something like, according to, insert your brand name here. This is that expertise and that authority moment for your brand. So let's start talking about how this actually works, because AI doesn't randomly just pick sources. So why do some websites get cited and others don't? Number one, they have clear, structured answers. Think things like headings, bullet points, step-by-step sections, definitions. Think of it as a piece of content that is super easy to read. If you are coming there to get an answer to a question, you know exactly where to find it. You don't have to dig through paragraphs to find that information. Number two is authority signals. AI models tend to favor websites that already have really strong authority. So they have strong SEO rankings already. Think things like domain authority, traffic, backlinks. They have brand mentions, meaning people are talking about them online. Their brand has that already built-in expertise and authority. And their domain has history, meaning it's not brand new. Their domain is something that's been around for a while. And then number three, the types of content that they create are the types of content that AI loves, and that's why they're getting cited. Things like how-tos, guides, FAQs, definitions, step-by-step tutorials. They're actually creating content that people are searching for, which is why they're showing up. So to summarize, the people that are getting cited have clear, structured content. They have high authority signals already, and they're creating content that people are already craving. All right, let's put this into action. So let's talk about 6 things that are going to increase your chances of getting cited so that you can take this content. I'll give you a little bit of homework at the end. You can take this content and actually put it to use to get some of your existing content. I'm not just talking about new content, but existing content too, actually indexed in an AI system and cited. So, number 1, I want you to create question-based content. So in other words, I want you to literally write out the questions and the answers inside your content. So let's think about this podcast, for example. What we talked about right before this is, why do some websites get cited and others don't? This is an actual question that people are asking. And because of that, it's a headline that's going to be in the show notes to support this episode. It's going to be literally written out. Why do some websites get cited and others don't? 1, 2, 3. And that structure is something that AI tools and just regular Google bots love. So how do you find out what questions people are searching for in order to get cited? There's a few different things you can do. 1, Google autocomplete, like just start typing in a question. How do you get cited? And then see what else continues to populate beyond that search query within the Google search bar. People also ask, this is one of my favorite areas to go to. It's literally Google telling you for free what people are also asking in relation to what you've originally searched for. So you don't need a fancy SEO tool. You can just go straight to Google to ask some of these questions. Reddit and forums. Forums are huge right now on the online space. Just in general on Google, they're ranking really high. So using Reddit as an idea to help create content and see what questions people are asking about certain topics can be a really good source. Answer the Public is another resource that you can use. It is a paid tool. It is part of Neil Patel's universe. They purchased it a few years back. You can actually get a combo plan with Ubersuggest if that is something you really like. So Answer the Public, I believe you get a few free searches a day as well. So you can go try that out. And then finally, just actually ask your audience, ask your customers, what are they struggling with right now? What questions do they have? And answer them, because ultimately that's the whole point of creating content anyways, is to actually create content for your audience. So that's number 1, create question-based content and answer the things that people are actually searching for within your industry, your expertise, and what your audience is really craving. So number 2, I want you to write like a teacher. Let's go back to school and let's really think about how we were asked to formally write. So AI actually prefers content that explains things clearly. So you know that score inside Yoast, if you've ever used Rank Math or Yoast, there's a score that's something called readability. And that's something that makes sure that your content is readable for a wide range of people. If you are using really big jargony terms, long sentences, run-on paragraphs, different things like that, it's going to say that your readability score is low, meaning you need to have maybe a really high IQ, or you need to be more advanced on this topic, or it's just not easy to read. This readability score is kind of what we're talking about, and it matters because AI wants to make things easy for everyone. They don't know the person on the other side of the screen. I mean, sometimes it does feel a little bit creepy like they know us, but they don't know us and our level, our skill level. So they're going to try and make things super clear. And the more clear that your content is and the less crazy, word vomity, jargony it is, then the better it's going to rank. So let's talk about number 3, because this kind of goes with the teacher aspect of it too. You should structure your content so that AI can actually steal it. Like, I use steal with quotations, but you want AI to quickly grab the information. You know how sometimes when you're searching in Google and it says like source cited, and you click on the source in the AI overview and it drops you directly to that part of the page that it pulled the information from? That's what we're talking about here. That's AI, quote unquote, stealing your content to put it in the AI overview. And it's showing you exactly where it's coming from. It's not rewritten. It's literally pulled directly from your content. And the only way AI can do this is by actual structure. So you need heading tags, H1, H2, H3. They need to be formatted. Bullet points make it super easy. Short paragraphs, quick sentences that answer questions, numbered lists. Think about structure and being able to easily skim and understand the content. I no longer want to see just paragraph on paragraph on paragraph. It should feel really choppy as you're looking at the content, because chances are people aren't reading it from beginning to end. And I know that sometimes, like, if you are a really big writer and a journalist, like, you want to story tell, you want to tell that stuff. That stuff works really, really well in emails. Write a novel, or occasionally, sure, write a journal entry in your blog. But when it comes to search, that type of content doesn't perform as well, because people in the search space aren't reading everything. They're looking for quick answers for the most part. They're not looking to be entertained and read in stories and read to. That's where they come to podcasts for, or they join your newsletter. Like, there are other areas where you can do that. And I would say blog content is typically not one of them. All right, let's talk about number 4. And this one, stay with me, it's a little technical. So we're going to talk about schema. So this is structured data, and it's extra information that you can add to your website on the back end inside the code that's going to help search engines understand your content better. So I want you to think of it like a label to a folder, but visitors, like your audience that comes to your website, is not going to see it. The people that do see it, well, they're not people, they're bots and robots, robots and crawlers. These are the people that are going to see it. And schema, it's basically just a type of language of the structured data. So it sounds a little crazy. It sounds like you might have to be a developer and learn code, and I'm definitely not telling you that. And that's the beauty of AI, is that AI and ChatGPT can actually help you create this data, write this code literally for you. And then there are tools out there to help you verify whether that code that you just wrote is correct. That's the most beautiful part about this whole process, is that you can have AI do it, and AI will literally give you a green check and be like, yes, you did it correct, because you can check it with these validator tools. So we'll include these tools in the show notes so that you can go check. So there's a validator schema tool and also a Google rich result tool that will help verify whether the code that you added to your website is actually working. So what are some of the things that you can add to your website? You can add some code on the back end. You put this into, usually it's in like an advanced settings section, or it's in the head, the HTML heading space. If you have embed forms, like sometimes this stuff is put in there. Wherever you went to add your Google tag metric in the head space, it's the same kind of space as that. So the types of things you can add to your website are organizational schema, which connects your business with other profiles and different things out there. So this is going to help describe who you are, what you do, what you offer. And there's also local business schema that can help connect your business with your Google business profile, make sure that the hours, the websites, the social profiles, all of that are interrelated and synced, so that bots know, hey, this website is the same as this website. And because of that, that gives these tools more clarity on who you are, and it shows them all the different content that's out there that makes you credible and an expert in your space. You can also write schema for your service pages or offers. You can write them for FAQs. You can write person schema to help give you more authority. For example, make sure that these bots know what your LinkedIn profile is, or know that you were featured on a board of X, Y, and Z, or what your credentials are. All of this is written into code on your website. So you don't have to worry about people seeing it, but it gives bots and crawlers way more information about your page in a structured way that they can understand. So it's going to help AI interpret your content faster. This is one of my favorite things lately to add on to a lot of our SEO projects. And for our SEO clients, they've been coming back asking if this is something that we can jump into their website and do. And we have been doing that along with creating AI prompts and video tutorial resources, which, by the way, are inside SEO on Tap in a bonus module to help you do this confidently yourself. And we also have been sharing this with our clients who we're jumping in and making those updates because we want you to feel really good at the end of it so that if you need to change any of this structured data, you can. And guess what? I'm not a developer and you don't have to be either. But schema is kind of this new opportunity to just make sure these bots and crawlers really, truly understand you. So I highly recommend looking into it, especially if you feel like your website is optimized and you're not quite sure what you can do next to go to the next level. This is one of those things that's just kind of like a next level thing. All right, let's talk about two more. So number 5, show up and publish content consistently. AI models are going to look for trusted sources that produce helpful information regularly. That's the key word here, is regularly. They want a library of helpful content, and they want to know that you are dedicated to keeping that content updated, meaning refreshing old content that's still working. So we are talking about quality over quantity here. Show up, publish content consistently. I'm not saying that it always has to be new content, but again, it's refreshing and making the whole universe of your content high quality content. If you have a bunch of blog posts out there that aren't doing anything for you, maybe you wrote them 10 years ago and they're about something super random that you don't want to be associated with anymore. It's time to remove that content, clear it out, and actually create some content that you do want to be associated for, because that old content isn't helping you. And then finally, number 6, I don't want you to be generic. I want you to be originally you. AI tends to favor things like unique insights, real examples, and content that actually shows experience. It shows your expertise and it proves it. So if your content sounds like it could have been written by AI, it's less likely to be cited, which is kind of ironic, isn't it? So throughout your content, you need to be sure to share real life examples, case studies, personal experiences, actual data, and really find ways to showcase how you are an expert on this topic and why. And on that note, you should be writing for your audience. I know a lot of times we're thinking about this content and we're trying to get it ranked on Google or ranked in AI, but these tools and these resources ultimately are for our audience and we want them to convert. So you need to work really hard to understand what people want from you, what your audience wants from you, and then create content that specifically speaks to them. So there you have it. Those are 6 things that are going to help increase your chance of getting cited. We're going to focus on creating question-based content. You're going to write like a teacher, very clearly, structure your content. You're going to add schema to your content. And again, you can do like small little schema things on just one blog, for example. And Yoast and Rank Math actually have built-in schemas inside WordPress, if that's what you use to blog and create content, where all you have to do is search schema or FAQ, and you'll be able to add an FAQ schema block to the end of your blog without even realizing that there's data and code on the back end. It's beautiful. So use those tools if you've never used them before. You're going to show up and publish consistently. Again, quality over quantity. And you're not going to be generic. You're going to be you. You're going to have a brand voice. You're going to stand out. You're going to show your expertise and you're going to share results and case studies. So here are some of the big mistakes. This is what we are seeing out there in the wild. And these are some of the things to avoid. One is that ignoring AI is even there and that it's even a viable SEO strategy. So this is something where I think a lot of people are like, I just don't have time. I don't have time to think about it. And one of the things that I think is really interesting is if you think about all these tips I just shared with you, none of them would be any different if AI didn't exist. I would still tell you to do all of these things because this is also how you rank on Google. So it's not that you need to have a completely different strategy. You just need to adapt your strategy a bit. Just adapt it a bit for AI, and it's going to work for both. So number two, a huge mistake that I'm seeing is that people are trying to crank out as much content as possible without even thinking through a strategy. And AI makes it kind of easy to do that, right? You can pump out 6 blog posts in 20 minutes, publish them, and then not show up anymore. And that's something that you're just not going to see the results from that. There's nothing unique about that. Just because AI can crank out the content doesn't mean AI knows how to write for itself to rank. Only you can do that. You are the expert. And finally, it's thinking that you have to choose. You have to choose between AI and traditional SEO. You have to choose between a GEO or an AEO or whatever new jargony term is out there. You have to choose one of those strategies over SEO. And the thing is, you don't. Like I said before, all of these tips that I'm walking you through are still effective and incredible tips if you were only trying to rank on Google. Good content is good content. So how is AI changing our SEO strategy? I want you to think about it this way. The goal isn't to flood the internet with content. So I want you to stop asking the question of how often do I need to blog? And instead, I want you to start envisioning this as the goal. The goal is for you to become the clearest, most helpful source on a topic. Be the expert in your thing. And before we go our separate ways today, because you know I'm a data nerd, you might actually be wondering, okay, this is great. This is good information, but how am I actually going to measure this? And how do I know if I actually show up right now in any AI citations? So let's talk real quickly about how to track your AI visibility. You can do it in a number of different tools, and here are some of my favorites. Number one is Google Analytics. Under traffic acquisition, you can actually see referral traffic, and this is where AI tools live. So within referral traffic, you can see things like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, whatever resources you're coming from. That's where you can see that exact traffic, the clicks that are coming to your website. Ubersuggest also has an entirely new AI visibility resource that not only allows you to track your AI performance, but it's also going to help you find new opportunities to rank in AI. You have the option, if you pay for Ubersuggest or one of their plans, you can see a snippet of this information, or you can add on to see even more. But this AI visibility toolkit that they have is really great and really affordable, allows you to see a little bit extra information. And I saved the best for last, and I bet you wouldn't think it's Bing. So Bing Webmasters, which is the Google Search Console of Bing, they're one step ahead of everyone. And they specifically have an AI performance summary inside their dashboard that allows you to see how many times you're cited and what pages those citations go to. It's a gold mine of information. So go check that out inside Bing Webmasters. We'll do a little screenshot for you inside the show notes as well. Okay, so it's time for a little mindset shift before we go. Instead of asking, am I ranking for this keyword? I want you to start asking, do I have the best content library on this topic I specialize in? So for example, if I want to be cited for things under the umbrella of SEO education, then I need to make sure that I have content on all the different topics that encompass this, not just one blog post about the best SEO tips to optimize your website. I should have content on keyword research, on structured data, on blog strategies, on SEO tools, on internal linking, on content strategy. Basically, the more comprehensive my coverage is, the more likely AI is going to see me as a trusted source. So that is what your job is now. Your job is to become that big comprehensive source because you have this content library that speaks to the expertise in the topic that you specialize in. So I have some homework for you. Here are some of the things you can do and take away from this episode, because I know I gave you so much information. When it's just me and not Court, I tend to just really amp up the amount of information I'm giving it to you. So it's a little bit like drinking from the fire hose. So I really, really encourage you to go to the show notes, the blog posts that we have associated with this episode, and bookmark it, save it, because it will be a really good guide for you to follow so that you can make sure that your content is getting cited. But here's your homework for today. I want you to use the resources I mentioned above, Ubersuggest, Google Analytics, Bing Webmasters, and see if you are already getting cited somewhere and where that might be. And then I want you to find a piece of content that you love, one that already exists, something that speaks to your uniqueness, that speaks to your expertise, that's a perfect part of that content library that we're trying to build. And then I want you to take that piece of content and come back to the show notes in the blog and go through these 6 things we just talked about to see how you can make this content even better. And again, like I said, before we start creating new content, let's really think about that quality over quantity approach, and let's fix what's already inside our business. So focus on the content that already exists and start there. All right, get to work. I'll see you next week.
It's time for a refill. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Duo on Air.
If you loved hanging out with us today, here are 3 quick ways to support the show. 1, subscribe so you never miss a new episode.
2, share this episode with a biz bestie and tag us on Instagram at duo.collective.
And 3, leave a review because we love hearing from you.
Finally, keep sharing your episode ideas. We love creating content for you. Head over to duocollective.com to catch up on all the latest episodes, brand and website makeovers, SEO tips, and so much more.
See you there. Let's duo this thing called business together.